Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hellacious Hero Returns. I'm Hellacious Hero Joe. And today with me I have a very, 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 very special guest. All the way from the Netherlands. Sanimation05. That girl who reads comics and sometimes plays video games. And sometimes reviews movies like 13 Assassins, right?
And Tomb Raider.
Oh, and Tomb Raider, yeah. Let's not forget about that.
Mm.
But if you guys are watching and you see the title of this, it's obviously about 13 Assassins, that movie. Sana and I have been talking about it for a while. We're both passionate about it. We both really love the movie. We're big Asian culture nerds, so especially Japan. And that's where this is based. This is what, Edo period Japan, right?
Yeah, 1844.
1844. Edo period Japan. This is before the Meiji Restoration, right? This is like the last of the shogunate.
Yeah.
So Sana, since you are like the expert, I mean, first of all, Sana, you're the expert on all this Asian stuff. Sana forced me to do this stream, so
Hold the gun against your head. Do it.
Yeah, this is my first stream. So Sana, thanks for the encouragement. She's the driving force behind these streams. I really have no desire to do them. I'm just joking. But so Sana, tell me about 13 Assassins. When's the first time you saw it? Did you see it in theaters? Did you see it when it came out on video? When's the first time you saw it?
I saw it on DVD back in 2011, I think, and I got it, and because it was of the director Mike Takashi, and I was like, "Ooh, very curious." And I really like old stuff, so it was right up my alley, and a lot of good actors in it, and I was really blown away, especially by one actor in it. So,
Who's the actor? Go ahead. Who was it?
Goro Inagaki.
Oh, what is he known for? Does he do anything else besides acting? Is he just like a regular actor, or what's he do?
No, he is known in Japan. He's a big idol in Japan. In Japan, idol is you do singing, acting, modeling, all that good stuff, TV shows, and he's from this very famous, one of the biggest boy bands in Japan. It really sucks, but it's fun to watch, especially the TV shows, and it's just you cannot really take it serious. It really puts a smile on your face, and then to see him here play a sadistic, mean asshole is like, whoa! So that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that is cool, because like you and I were talking about it before, and I never knew that shit until you told me, and then I thought he was just some sadistic asshole. I was like, holy shit, this guy's a badass. Fuck. And then you're like, oh, he's so sweet, he's such a sweetheart, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And like in that movie, let's talk about some of the scenes with him, because like the very beginning of the movie is like it shows a lot of the really sadistic shit he does like in the very beginning of the movie. And the one scene that like I remember I first watched it. See, I got introduced to it. It was on Netflix actually, and I think probably 2011, the same time it came out on DVD. So they released it on Netflix, and I was like, "Oh, cool! What's this shit?" Boom, watched it. I was like, "This fucking movie's amazing, right?"
Right.
Like you said, it really like harkens back to the Akira Kurosawa shit. Like what Yojimbo and Rashomon, and what's the other one? Sanjiro and Seven Samurai, and all that shit, right? So yeah, I saw it and I was like, "Damn!" And I watched it and I was like, the first 15 minutes, I was like, "Holy fuck, this movie's awesome!" Because like it's just constant killing, and it's constantly about what's his name? What's his character's name in there?
Naritsugu.
Naritsugu. Yeah, I was like, damn, this guy is sadistic. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But what do you think in the movie, his character? What was your favorite like thing he did, or your favorite line, or just a scene with him in it? What was your favorite scene with him in it?
Well, it's probably also the worst scene out there. It's where he is at one of the clan's family, and you see a little boy crying already, tied up, and I'm like, oh my god, he's not gonna do it right. You see already a little girl there suffering, and the parents. I'm like, he's not gonna do it right. And then, whoa, what the fuck? It makes me instant hate him even more.
Yes, I agree with you. That's one of my favorites too, but I think my favorite scene with him is when actually he's not even in the scene. It's just them talking about like how evil he was, and it was when they bring the the peasant girl with like all her limbs and stuff cut off and her tongue's cut out, and they put the paintbrush in her mouth, and she's like writing, like total massacre on the scroll.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, this guy really did that to her. And she's like sitting there crying, like, oh, she screams,
Mm.
and then Shinza's like, we must assemble to kill, It's like, oh shit. That was like a fucking amazing scene. And later when he pulls it out, like when they come into the city and he's fucking like, total massacre, I'm like, oh fuck, that's so badass.
Yeah. Also, that one scene where, in the end, where all shit goes down, and he just starts laughing very hysterically, and he's like, "Oh, if I become like the Shogun, I will make everything like a big fucking war again." I was like,
absolutely.
Whoa.
Yeah, he talks to, what's the guy's name? His right hand man, Hanbei.
Yeah.
He talks to Hanbei, and he's like, was this what the Age of War was like? And Hanbei was like, probably. And he was like, I'm bringing it back. I was like, oh, he's sick. But that movie, oh my god, Sana, like I like rewatching it again. Like, thanks for suggesting it, because I know we said we both loved it, and I know we had like a list of movies we were talking about, like The Raid and all that kind of shit. But like, I'll tell you what, like rewatching it again, I was like fucking crying. I was like, this movie's fucking amazing. The way that he shot it, like, another thing, you and I both love Japanese culture, and you know how they really like revolve around the elements, like earth, wind, water, fire, your spirit, all that shit. Every single element, like, this is just an observation from me. I mean, like, you can see every element in the movie. They go through the forest, that's earth, right? They catch shit on fire. You see that scene with like the water flowing and stuff, and the mud and the rain and shit. You see the air with the smoke and all the stuff going around. I mean, you see all the elements, and obviously the soul, because they're fighting each other with their spirit. The Bushido is like an extension of a samurai's soul. Yeah. So you get all the elements, you get everything that Japanese culture is about. It's a fucking excellent movie. I mean, it's super amazing. I mean, it's phenomenal. I think on Rotten Tomatoes it has like a 95%. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like, how can you disagree with that? It's incredible. Exactly. But my favorite characters, I love Shinza, and I love what's his name? Yotaka? The jungle dude with the rocks and shit. He's like hitting people.
Yeah, Yusuke Isaya, that's his real name. He's amazing. I really love him as an actor.
He's so badass. And like the way he dies, though, I remember when I first saw it, and I was like, well, obviously he doesn't die. If you see the movie, spoiler, fuck, shit, sorry, right? But when you first see the movie, it's like, oh, fuck, because he's like, samurais are pieces of shit. He's like, I can kill all you guys, whatever, blah. And he has like fucking tree branch in his hand. And then, Lord not so whatever, he fucking throws the sword at his neck, and he's like, ugh, and you're like, oh no.
And he comes back later. It's like,
yeah, and he's like skipping through the shit. You're like, what the fuck? And the guy asked him, he's like, are you immortal? It's like, it's badass.
Pretty much. It's so fucking cool.
But all the scenes in that movie, like every single scene is just like pure aesthetic. Like so much. You have like, I hate to compare shit to other things, but let's just say, for instance, like we both love comic books, right? And you have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's all fucking CGI. Like everything is CGI. Yeah. Everything is CGI. It was really cool to see a movie like that is actually, I mean, fairly recent. I know it's 10 years old now, but pretty recent in the grand scheme of things. Like the practical effects now, there were some special effects, but like just the shots of like Japan and like them walking along the trail and shit with, I mean, that was fucking awesome. Like I love practical effects, and I love the way that was shot, and I think that's why everybody loved it and gave it great reviews, because it really was like a 1960s or 1970s movie. It was like, this is what we want to shoot it like. We want to make it fucking as original as possible. We'll throw in some special effects, like the bulls and shit with the fucking logs on their back on fire, like fucking beating people, and the bridge blowing up and the horses and shit falling. But I mean, it was such a fucking throwback. I love it. I love the movie. It might be one of my favorites. Where's it rank on your list of Japanese movies? Is it like number 1, or is it top 5, top 10, top 20? Where do you think it put that? Is it in there somewhere?
I think definitely top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. What, if you don't mind me asking, what do you think would be the ones that follow that, or what's number 4, 3, 2, 1? If you had to guess, or even just like even 1 or 2 that like come to mind.
Well, just a few of the old ones. I forget the name at the moment. The classic ones. Those are pretty amazing. But of current movies, I really like Ichi the Killer. I really love that movie. Zatoichi with B
That,
Takeshi.
is that the one that is that a, that's a female protagonist, isn't it? Isn't
No, it's actually I have the DVD right here, as if I came prepared. It's this one.
Oh, sweet. You know what? Actually, I have seen that. It's a great flick. I was thinking
Hmm.
you said Ichi. I thought you said Ichi. I think Ichi isn't Ichi the one with like a female protagonist. She's like a samurai chick.
In this movie, yeah. Wait, I'm getting really scatterbrained right now. Let me check the back. Well, there's a girl in there, so probably I should maybe rewatch it. Maybe I can evaluate my entire list. But also, I really love Rurouni Kenshin, the entire trilogy. It's just fucking amazing. All these amazing actors. Also, the one actor in that you just said with the Stones.
Oh
He's
yeah,
in it.
yeah.
He's in
Hmm.
the second one, I believe.
That's
Who is
sweet. Dude.
also a little fun fact. He's also the half brother of Kanzai Yamamoto, who did the outfits of David Bowie as Ziggy Stardust, who recently passed away.
Oh, I did not know that.
No, you know.
David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, and the Spiders
Yeah,
from Mars.
yeah.
Oh my
He
goodness.
did all the famous outfits.
So everybody, please, if you're watching, give Sana a round of applause. She knows so much shit about all this stuff. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing here.
Me neither.
You're throwing out random facts. I'm just like, damn, I didn't know that.
Mm.
But that's cool. I think it's cool that all that stuff is tied in, you know? And I know that you and I have talked and like we kind of we grew up in the same time. We're around the same age. Like we like the same shit. Like we grew up in the 90s. We like all that martial arts and fighting game stuff. Like fighting games and shit. You've talked about it, you know, in your show and we've talked about it. That's my shit too. I
Yeah.
mean, we've played Mortal Kombat now. What? I mean, for hours, right?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
keep on winning, by the way.
you're good. You're really good. Katana, she's amazing with
Mm.
Katana. Watch out for those fans, right? But no, I mean, I think it's cool how everything's tied together. So, like, what? I don't want to like put 13 Assassins in the background because I do want to talk more about the movie. But what do you think, like, your introduction to all this like Japanese culture and history and your fascination with it? When do you think it started? Do you think it was like when you were a young, you know, like a young woman or a kid with like martial arts culture, or you know, was it a certain kind of cuisine you have? Was it a TV show you watched? Was it a movie you saw or an actor you saw that was like, "Ooh, I want to learn more about Japan"? Like, what was it that sparked your interest in that kind of culture and that thing?
Well, for that, I really have to pay respect to my mom because she was really into Chinese and Japanese stuff.
Hmm.
And so, me, especially growing up, I was really interested in history.
Hmm.
And in the history books in school, I would always like page through it and I would see old pictures of Japan. And I was like, wow, this is pretty fucking cool. Like, it really felt like I was looking at home or something like that. And so, also having grown up with martial arts movies, especially the Hong Kong ones, it just felt natural to me, not even weird. So I was more and more looking into it. But I think it got more worse when I was, I think, 15 years ago, because I got really interested in it. I was like really collecting all the Jackie Chan stuff. And then I got introduced to more Japanese movies because, of course, you know, I've seen The Ring, the other movie that's also a remake of something with this weird ass girl in it and this little boy. I
Is it the
forgot.
Grudge? Is it the Grudge? Is that what you're looking at?
Yes.
It's a good
That
flick. Yeah.
one. Yeah. And you know, I would go to what's it called? Where you a rental shop, like a video rental shop?
Yeah, like a video store, like a yeah, like a I can't. We don't even have hardly any around here anymore because everything's streaming. But
Right.
yeah, like
But
a
when
video rental
those
place.
still existed, I would go there and they always had like movies for sale and there were like a lot of Asian movies in there and I would just like hoard them because they were like €1 a piece and I was like, yes, Japanese, Japanese, Chinese, want it. And yeah, that's how it all started. And eventually me trying to learn Japanese and having been to Japan and I'm just fucking in love.
That's awesome. I mean, like same thing with me, pretty much. You know, growing up as a kid, it was obviously I told you You guys have probably watched some of my videos. You know, I was a martial artist, so that was kind of like my intro to it, to get like really obsessed with it. I mean, I read like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff when I was a kid. I watched martial arts movies, like Sana said. Like Bruce Lee was like a huge inspiration for me. I mean, Enter the Dragon. I remember watching that movie and I was like 8 or 9, and I was like, this is so badass. Like I wanted to be Bruce Lee, you know, and then when I went to martial arts, I used to be actually a really heavy kid. Like I was a really heavy kid. I lost like 100 pounds when I was like 15 or 16 years old because I was like, I need to get in shape. I'm gonna die here, and if I want to be like Bruce Lee, I better start looking like Bruce Lee. So I ran every day. I lifted weights. I exercised. I did all that kind of stuff because I wanted to be like the best martial artist I could be. And I trained like super hard. And I can remember, like you said, it was almost like everything that I did, because I'm a historian too. I mean, I went to school for history. Like that's, like you said, that's one of my passions. I've always loved it, especially Asian culture and history, because I was a martial artist for so long. Like Korean culture and history was, you know, one thing. But yeah, that was my thing, and I kind of just fell in love with it. Bruce Lee pushed me to the edge, and I put like, did you ever read the stories about Bruce Lee and like his exercise regimen? He
Eh.
put he put like a hot towel on his stomach and do like a bicycle for 4 hours. I actually did that. I did that one time, and I was like, oh my god, how did he do this every day? I'm gonna die. It's like 98 degrees in here.
Hmm.
But that was like my intro, and it just like you said, it kind of just like just blew up, and it was really because of my parents. Because when I was younger, I hated martial arts. Like when I was a little kid, like 10 or 11, I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Because like, you had school, you had all the other stuff you had to do. I was in football, I was in baseball, I was in martial arts, I was in like everything, bowling, everything. And I was like, I want to quit one of these things. I don't have enough time for all this. Then I eventually was like, you know what? I like martial arts. I'm going to stick to that and just like later in life drop everything else. And that's kind of what happened with me. Oh, we got
And
somebody. Who's in
whoa,
the chat? Who is it? Oh my god, we got one guy. Oh, who is it? Louie, what's up, bro? Rumble in the Bronx. That's Jackie Chan, right?
yeah,
Jack.
this El Romero. I now know who you are. Oh, and by the way, let's not forget, since we grew up both in the 90s, you had
Yeah,
Showdown, Little Tokyo. That was also really interesting.
it
You
was
know, seeing all the tattoos and everything that's so connected. You're like, damn, these guys are just
badass.
amazing.
Yeah, you know what? That reminds me of 13 Assassins too. You remember when they're in the hall, like I get what is it, like a brothel, and they're playing the dice game, and you can see all their like
Mm,
dragon tattoos and the sleeves and stuff. Yeah, I mean that was there. It is again. It ties right back to the culture. I mean, it's something that's
yeah.
like really important. You know, even today, like in pop culture, you and I talked about music, like Matt Kichihifi from Trivium, right? We just talked about Trivium earlier. He has all those tattoos and like all this because he's half Japanese. Like he loves
Mm,
that culture, and it's like he wants to do what's that called when you get the tattoo down to your wrist? What is that?
a sleeve.
Yeah, but like there's a certain name. I can't remember what it is. There's like a certain name for it, but it's
Yeah.
really cool how everything's tied together like that. I love it. So
Yeah, even I have like a tattoo with the symbols of Sakura, you know, cherry blossoms, because
yeah,
in Japanese culture, in the tattoo culture, it's like Sakura, the cherry blossom, really represents a short, beautiful life. So I think, you know, everything is connected with them. And if you really look into things, you know, like what the dragon stands for, what this stands for, what that stands for, everything stands for something. And it's so fucking deep. It's just amazing.
can we see the tattoo? Is it visible? Is it like it's not like on your
It's on my wrist.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see it. See, that's really cool.
Yeah, it says Musha. It's the nickname that I had for my mom.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, see, that's freaking sweet. See, you talk about dragons. Like, I'll show you too. I got stuff on now too that I wear. I have a dragon ring. It's a Japanese dragon. I don't know if you can see it. Its head's there. And on
Ooh,
the inside, there's
yeah.
like a little bit of hiragana and some katakana in there. It's hard to see, but and
Well, Moshi love it.
the watch I'm wearing too is a Japanese dragon watch. Check it out. See the eyes? Dragon. It's all connected. I mean, it's
Mm,
like you said, everything that we talked about, and it's funny because you talked about it in your youth, and I talked about it in my youth. I remember watching because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I mentioned that too. But the reason I got into Lord of the Rings is there was there was this Cartoon Network station that used to be on over here. I can still remember it like clockwork. It was like on channel 34. I used to watch it every day. I come home from school and watch it. And there was a Hobbit animated movie that came out in 1979. But the animation was done by Japanese animators. And it was like, every time I watched it, I was like, this is amazing. I love The Hobbit. And I didn't know why. And then they did like a movie on The Last Unicorn. They did a movie called Flight of Dragons. And I loved every single one of them. And it had the same animation style. And then I remember watching like Dragon Ball Z when I was in like 7th or 8th grade. And I was like, this is like the same shit. It's like the same animation. I thought that was an American thing. It's The Hobbit. Like, it's not Japanese. Right? And you watch it and you're like, oh shit, it's all the same. Like, their art and they're just like, the way they just perceive things and showcase things, and like we just talked about with 13 Assassins, the way they filmed that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really, really like, they don't half-ass anything.
No,
right?
Attention for details. They go
Absolutely.
to the bitter end.
I've always
my introduction to anime was like Akira.
Yeah, Akira's a fucking amazing movie. I mean, I love that. I love Akira too. It's so good, but it's like science fiction. It's like a completely different phenomenon that you would expect. Like when you're a kid, like like you said, you'd flip through history books and see the island of Japan, and you think like samurai, shogun, all this stuff. You never thought of like Neo Tokyo or like some futuristic city, and then you watch the movie and you're like, oh shit, or like Ghost in the Shell or all that stuff, you know. Louie's talking about repping Canada over here. Oh, let's see it. There it is, Canada. Look at that.
That's like even the music, the entire score of that movie, and that goes for a lot of Japanese movies, and you can see it in the old stuff till now. It's just also, as you said before, well connected, and it's so deep, so beautiful. And you know, a lot of people have always something bad to say about Japan, like, oh, they're just perverted, they this, they're that, and they have no emotions. But when you really read their manga stuff, and then I'm not talking about the unrealistic manga, but there are a lot of heartfelt mangas out there that makes me just cry out of my ass. Like, damn, this is really bad. But there are also a lot of Japanese movies, you know, they keep it real, and you know, they will go through movies that are based off manga, that like a child is killed in an accident, or how a young person gets cancer, or how one young person commits suicide, all that stuff. You know, they keep it real, even though it's very hard for them, because unfortunately depression is a big thing in Japan, you know, with the whole suicide forest and stuff like that. They even have like a suicide book. So it's kind of weird, but I think it's their way of expressing their feelings. It's their outlet, the manga, the movies, the series, everything. Not necessarily the music.
No. That's a perfect example, because I was going to say something similar. You know, it's kind of, it takes a lot of talent and I don't know, like a certain quality, I guess, of a country or something like that, and a people to just churn out so much excellent shit. And I know you said a lot of people hate on them, but I mean, they literally churn out excellence, everything, excellent. Like, I've never had an American car. I'm an American. I drive Japanese cars because they're just, I've never had a problem with a single one. Like Honda and Toyota, never have I ever had a problem with one of those cars. I mean, and I've ran them until they had 150, 200,000 miles, and they still ran. It's like, I need to get a new car. This thing's like 20 years old, you know? But
yeah,
excellence everywhere. Just what they
and
do.
they represent our youth. You know, they gave us Nintendo, they gave us Sega, they gave us PlayStation.
I wasn't even thinking about that. The perfect example. Yeah, I mean, talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, I know we're kind of like going off on a tangent here at 13 Assassins. We can come back. I mean, it's all the same.
13 reasons to love Japan.
Exactly. I mean, it's 13 reasons, 13 Assassins, right?
Sean!
Oh, Sean, what's up, man? Hey, man, no worries, bro. No worries, man. Hey, yeah. Sorry to hear about that, man. That's really sad news. It's a shame. It's a shame. We like I said, I never really knew the guy. I did watch like a couple videos, but you know, he has all the support. You know, he has people out there, and yeah, I really, you know, wish his family and stuff the best. So shout out to him. Yeah. Shout out. But hey, man, Thanks for showing up and supporting 13 Assassins with Sana and I. We really appreciate it, dude. Sana was talking about video games, if you guys just tuned in. Louis says Mario and Hello Kitty were his introduction.
Yeah. I mean, all the cute stuff even comes from Japan. Like, even all the craziest cartoons that we all, as you said before, it all comes from Japan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you guys remember, or Sana, do you remember,
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, there's another example. I completely forgot about that. But yes, Sailor Moon. I did a Tuxedo Mask cosplay one time. It was legit, Tuxedo Mask. But the Ronin Warriors, do you remember that TV show? Or Outlaw Star? Do you remember those shows?
Maybe if I see pictures, I'm like, oh.
I remember watching, there was, like I said, on Cartoon Network, this segment called Toonami, and I used to watch it every day after work. It was like Dragon Ball, or after school. It was like Dragon Ball Z, Outlaw Star, what else did I just say? Ronin Warriors, and then Thundercats. You remember Thundercats?
Oh, yeah.
That was an American, like, it was Mumra and Cats, but it was, like, drawn by Japanese artists. Like, and then everybody listen, I love Avatar. Like, I'm just, like I said, go off on a tangent here. I love the anime Avatar, but it's made by Americans. Like, it's not actually a Japanese anime. They just took inspiration from, Japan and China and that culture and kind of just made that. And I love it. I think it's really good. But for me, that's like, I don't know. I've always been like, that's not really anime, is it? Not made by Japanese people.
It's American. Bleh.
Yeah, I like it. Oh, Toonami. See, Louie's all talking about Toonami up in here. Oh, yes, Toonami. So, did you watch Toonami? Did you guys have Toonami over there in the Netherlands?
Well, I think growing up we had some of it. I can't really remember much, but that goes for a lot of things in life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at one point I get like all Sailor Moon dancing right now, and then Toonami. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I love it. Me and my best friend used to walk back and forth to school and talk about, like, Dragon Ball Z. Like, wonder if Frieza's gonna do something crazy today. Is Nappa gonna kill Vegeta? What's gonna happen to Vegeta? Then we watched the Cell Saga, and I was like, is he gonna transform again? How many times is this fucking guy transforming?
Go on, become a Super Saiyan. I remember running home from school. I mean, that was the thing that you did 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Like,
it was like,
I have to be home before 5.
Absolutely. And you were like, when I came home, my parents were like, get your chores done, make sure your homework's done. And I'd be sitting there like, oh shit. And I make up my homework and make up a bunch of bullshit and then do it, school before I went to class in the morning the next day in homeroom or whatever. Cause I was like, I need to fucking watch Dragon Ball Z. I don't got time for this math shit. Right?
You know what sucked? Here in the Netherlands, I don't know in America if it was the same thing, but at one point you were so into it. Like, I remember we got into the Android saga, and then suddenly they started again from episode 1. I was like, how does it continue, for fuck's sake? And they kept doing that 2 times, that they would just go back to season 1. I'm like, you fuckers. And then after that, you got the whole Pokemon hype, and after that, I think Naruto hype.
Oh my goodness, I completely forgot about that shit. Pokemon, I used to love that game. I remember the games for like the Game Boy and stuff. It was like Pokemon Yellow, Blue, Red. I remember my brother had Red and I had Blue, and I was like, Blastoise, yeah. And he was like, Charizard. And I was like, Blastoise is fucking way better. And he's like, no way, Charizard, But
and correct me if I'm wrong, if we're going to talk about like a quick flashback to Street Fighter video games. I mean, Chun-Li is like Chinese, but I believe she says Yatta when she wins. Yatta, which is I did it in Japanese. So that's kind of funny.
Yada yada. Yada yada. Pog. Yeah, you remember Pogs, the spinny things and slammers? Remember those things were like boop and they hit each other and stuff? Hey, good point, Louie. Exactly. I mean, that's all that stuff. Louie is on a roll. Sword of Omens, give me Scythe sight. Thundercats are loose. I love it. What about Snarf? Remember Snarf? Snarf. Remember him? Oh my
Not God. At the moment. Oh my God.
We got all
Card Captain Sakura. Well, I see Sakura. You said Sakura, so I'm thinking of Card Captain Sakura, which is kind of like a different version of Sailor Moon, which is also amazing.
What about Dark Sailor? She turns evil.
The goth sailor.
The dark ones. Ooh.
representing
No,
that.
but you know what? Like, isn't it so cool how we talk about 13 Assassins and then we just kind of like talk about our childhood? And I think that's reflected in the movie. Remember
Mm,
how you said earlier when you talked about how there's so much emotion in that, and like people like criticize Japan for not having any emotion, and like people are emotionless and they're flat and they really don't give a shit. They're just churning stuff out for the hell of it, you know?
hentai.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, that's everywhere though. That's like just their form of it. They just have an artistic way of expressing it. Just because like everybody else doesn't do it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, right? I mean, I just told you like at the beginning of the stream when I watched 13 Assassins, I was like literally almost crying. I was like, oh my god, this guy's evil. Kill him,
Yeah.
right? Kill him. And you see like all the guys die and like the way they die. Like the first guy gets stabbed through the fucking building and he's like, oh, and his friend's like, you know, and they're sitting there fighting each other. Like watching that, it's like it's heartfelt. Like you really get invested into the characters, you know. And
Also, that one guy, I forgot his name, but he wears the more grayish suit.
is he
And
evil?
in the last fight, he's
Is he
like,
good or evil?
he's good. He wears a bit more gray instead of the black suit, and you basically see him dying, but he still keeps on fighting, and you really see like turning around, and then basically he just drops dead because
Yes,
he's done.
yes, I remember that scene. I remember that scene well. Yeah, yeah. He comes through because remember how they make the rampart and like the gate closes with the bamboo stuff and it keeps opening back up or whatever, and they cut the stuff. And I do remember that scene. He walks down the thing and he's like, "I've come to kill you," and then like he starts to proceed up the like line of all the what was the name of that clan? Akashi, the Akashi soldiers. He
Yeah,
goes up to kill all the Akashi soldiers who are defending the Lord, and then as soon he's like literally like 10 soldiers away, he just kills like 5 dudes, and then behind them the other people come around, and he's like shit, and he's sitting there fighting and stuff. I do remember that, but he actually, yeah, you're right. He like kills a shitload of people. And then after a bunch of them die, he's just standing there like, ah, and he just drops over like you said. That
yeah,
seems
and
amazing.
the Akashi soldiers. It also, you kind of see it if anyone has played Ghost of Tsushima, how the samurai are always loyal no matter what. And
Mm-hmm.
you see it also, they know the guy is so bad, but they still stick with him because they are so loyal. It's just well represented. Like you see in Ghost of Tsushima how Jin is really having a hard time becoming the ninja guy, like stabbing in the back, like, no, this is not the way. It's just really beautiful to see. And I think Japan doesn't get enough credit for the respect that they have. Even if you go to Japan, you get in a taxi and the guy has to take a detour which only takes 1 minute longer. The amount of apologies that you get in a taxi, it's just ridiculous. I'm like, calm down. I want to give you a hug or something, like, don't cry. It's just really crazy. Or when your credit card is not working, how they keep coming back, like bowing, like, sumimasen. It's just so, like, even if they would carry a bunch of towels, they carry it as if they're carrying $1 billion suitcase or something like that. It's out of this world.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You're gonna have to talk about that experience in Japan here in a second, but I just want to echo what you said for a second here, and then we'll let you talk about your experience because you know what? I think that's a big point of another reason why you're so attached to these movies and that culture. And you said like your past experience and like your mom loved it and all that stuff, you know. And I think that what you said, they're a very loyal people in general. I mean, like you just mentioned, Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, I've been playing that too, you know, and you're right. Like that whole thing with Jin and that concept with the girl he helps and they save his brother, who's like the blacksmith or whatever. Like that whole thing where she's like, "Oh, you have to be an assassin and sneak up behind people like a ninja and kill them."
Mm.
Which reminds me of, do you remember the game Tenchu Stealth Assassins? That was a great game.
You have to remind me later. Show me a picture. Maybe
I
I'll like
will.
it.
But that whole idea of respect and like you said, he didn't want to stray from his mission. He was just kind of like, can't do that. And that's in the movie too. Like Hanbei, that character.
Yeah.
Like I want to talk about Hanbei for a second before we talk about your love for Japan and your trip because, oh my God, Hanbei, like the Lord literally like kills all of his servants like right in front of him, and he's still like, I will protect my
Like,
Lord till the end.
yeah.
It's like he just killed everybody. He literally just killed every single one of your servants. And another part that I just want to talk about because you mentioned that guy who's evil as hell, but like a sweetheart in real life, right?
Yeah.
When he kicks the ball after he like arrows that kid, he just like kicks the ball and he's like, servants are supposed to serve. He's
Mm.
like, you treat them too nice or whatever, they'll rise up and overthrow you or whatever. And I'm just like, holy shit. And then he does the exact same thing. The irony is at the end, when they fight each other, yeah, and he cuts his head off, he kicks his head. And the guy who killed him is like, you disrespect him by kicking his head. He just gave his life for you. And he's like, oh, kick my head if you want to. It's like, oh my God, he's so evil. But Hanbei's loyalty to him, though, I mean, like, you couldn't shake him. He did everything. He literally went up against his childhood friend to protect his lord, which is, like, insane. So that just shows you, like you said, the respect, the loyalty, and everything they do is pure. It's 100% heart. It's 100% soul. There's no bullshit in between. It's just like, it's not half-assing, you know? But talk about your experience in Japan, what it was like, what that kind of, because I can only imagine saw it, because you and I've talked about this before. I've always wanted to go. I've never been. But how did it feel when you went over there after looking through all that stuff in the history books and you were like, oh my God, I feel like I'm connected. And then you were there and it was like, how was that? I mean, just tell me, like, seriously, just spill your guts about everything. Just tell me what it feel like. Was it, I mean, it had to be one of the best, if not one, like the greatest experience in your life. I mean, just spill your guts.
It is the greatest thing ever experienced. As soon as I landed there, I was like, I'm home. I don't know what it is, but I was there and I'm like, I'm home. This is it. And it's so ridiculous. Like, I was walking there with my friend and we were walking the streets and I said, do you even realize that we're like walking at the other side of the fucking world right now? Like, we're just here in the streets, right? And it's just really, a lot of people probably expect that there are a lot of cosplay people out there, dressed up. Like, you see like a lot of pictures of the Harajuku girls, but maybe only in the weekend you see like one or two people out there that are dressed like that in the Harajuku street. But other than that, people are just, they mind their own business. They don't judge you like they do over here or in America. They just let you be you and that's it. And they're very helpful. I mean, especially at that time, my Japanese was really shitty. So, and it takes it back to, when the trading thing was happening, right? When, for example, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Dutch, they went to Japan to trade. No one spoke the fucking language. So they were talking with hands and feet. And my friend was like, yeah, but we don't speak Japanese and they don't speak English. It's like, but how do you think they did it back in the day? God damn it. So I was really just trying to communicate. And one of the women, something I will never forget, I was asking her and she was like pointing it out, asako ni, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, thank you, thank you. And then she stood there waiting till we were at the end of the street. And then she was like, go right now. And then she walked away. Just the mad respect that's going on there. Of course, it's Tokyo, so you will also run into people that don't really want to communicate with you, but it's amazing. That's all I can say. I want to go back. I want to live there. I was supposed to go there to a Japanese language school, and everything was set up, but I chickened out in the end. So
it's all good. You can always go back one day. One day,
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Tomorrow.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, my toes are crossed too. You can't see it, but they are. But you'll get there.
Yeah.
And no, that's awesome. That's really cool that you got to experience that. Not a lot of people. And like you said, that's it's really neat that you went over there and they were so humble. Excuse me, let me clear my throat. I got a frog in there. Ribbit. They were so humble. Yeah. They were so humble to you because, again, it just talks about how we mention the respect, and even a tourist, like, even though they know you can't speak the language, they're willing to do anything they can to make sure you get where you need to go. That's the kind of hospitality and humbleness. And you know what? Just to tie in martial arts, because I was a martial artist, that's exactly, I mean, we had 5 codes and 7 tenets in Tang Soo Do. That was a martial art practice. And I'll never forget them because they're ingrained in here. There's loyalty to country, obedience to your parents and elders, honor friendship, no retreat in battle, and fighting choose with sense and honor. That was the 5 codes we had. And then the 7 tenets were integrity, concentration, perseverance, respect and obedience, self-control, humility, and an indomitable spirit. I will never forget that because the culture is so martial. I mean, through all the stuff they went through. We just talked about 13 Assassins in the Edo period, right? I mean, that was a shogunate, militaristic government. You had to know martial arts. People knew martial arts, you know, and they echo that into their everyday lives. And the thing that's so great about being a martial artist and, like you said, studying martial arts and being over there is it's inculcated into who they are as people.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to appreciate that to a certain extent, you know?
Yeah, and as a side note, in Shinjuku you have Shinokubo, which is more like the small Korean town over there. So there are a lot of Korean people there. And as soon as you walk in there, you see the difference between the two. Koreans are like really dragging you into the shop, like, oh, come, you will like this lipstick, you will like this, you will like that. And the Japanese are just like, we stand here like, irashimasen, they're all in the choir screaming that as soon as you enter the store. And ridiculous thing, like they have like umbrella condoms, right? Like if it's been raining, you just put that thing in there and you don't drag the rain everywhere in the store. So it's amazing. And as a side note, back to 13 Assassins, people maybe don't know, but it kind of is loosely based on a true fact from way back in the day.
I was waiting for you to bring that up. It's coming here.
The anticipation, like Naritsugu really existed.
No, that's cool. Exactly. That's the best part about it. And Louis said something here. Oh, Tokyo is so futuristic. Yeah, I mean now it is, right? We just talked about Akira.
Yeah, but every district is something else. Like Shinjuku, you have the busy streets, and then you have the streets that are very quiet. Then you go to Akihabara, you see everything. You see Sega, Nintendo, this and that. And Shibuya, you have the crazy crossing. Mm-hmm. You have the amazing music store, and so forth. Scatterbrain, but I cannot wait to go back.
I can tell you're loving it. You're like, man, I'm there. You're there right now. You're literally like thinking about it. You're like, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm imagining everything. And, it's not that I say it often, because a lot of times where you go somewhere for pasta or pizza kind of sucks. But in Japan, it was fucking spot on. Like, I had the most amazing pasta pesto over there. God damn it.
It was actually better than the Italian version,
Almost, yeah.
No, that's cool, though, because like we just said, they don't do anything half-ass. If they want to show you something and replicate something that's like another culture, they're going to know everything they need to know about it, and they're going to make it exactly, or like you said, really fucking close to what the real shit is.
But still pay respect, because in Nagasaki, which is more in the south of Japan, there was a guy once who was really inspired by Dutch architecture, and he was like, I want to bring this to Japan. And he created the amusement park called Huis Den Bosch, literally, so the House of Den Bosch, which is a city. And there is a tower from Utrecht, a city in the middle of the Netherlands. It's called the Dom Tower. And to pay respect, because he wanted to recreate it, he put it a few meters less, so that it's not completely the same. So it's still below, to pay respect to the original tower. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty... Like, who would have thought of that? I mean, probably any European or American would be like, oh, we will make it bigger than yours.
But you know what? That's a really good point, too, because bigger isn't always better. Did you ever see them? You've seen it. The Wolverine, that movie. Do you remember when he goes with Mako into the, like, love hotel? Do you remember that scene? For whatever reason, like, that's in my head, because it's like the rooms are so close together like this in their love hotel, but every single room is so like vibrant and filled with color and has a different theme. And it's like, so like the one theme was like outer space, and it was like you were in a galaxy or the Milky Way or like a planet. Like everything that they do, like you said earlier, the attention to detail is like, it's unparalleled. Nobody does it like them. Nobody in the world right now. And it's crazy to think that, because they live on a fucking island that's this big in the grand scheme of this entire globe we have. I'm going to have a globe sitting right here, but I can't reach it. But it's like insane. Louis said, don't they grow food on the roofs of buildings? Is that true? You've been over there. I think they do, right? They do something like that, right? Do they grow food on the roofs of buildings?
Not that I know of, but I do know that they have one of the most amazing things ever that I still have to visit, which is a toilet museum and a poop cafe. I want to go there. What,
after that thing you sent me today, I know for a fact that that's true. I'd be like, no way. But after that, yeah, it is. But you know what?
Like a cappuccino in a toilet, and you're drinking literally from the toilet. It's
That's funny as hell, though. Like, their humor is so... for all the shit that they've been through as a country.
Literally shit.
Yeah, exactly. They
Mm.
have the fucking funniest, and that ties back in the anime and shit we were talking about. Like some of it is corny and hokey and goofy and over the top, but you know what? They do it because it's a release for them. It's expression. It's like, listen, we've been through a lot of bullshit. We're gonna have fun with whatever the hell we want to do.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't know why people hate on them because they're so, like you just said, they're so respectful, but they have everything. You know, there's. I've always loved Japan. I've always loved love that culture. So I don't know why people hate on them. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah. So for anyone who's watching next week, we will stream live from Japan.
We're actually going to Japan. Yeah, we're gonna hit Tokyo first. Then what song? We're going to Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Where else? We're gonna hit.
Kyoto to get some kendo class, and to go to the Samurai Ninja Museum in the Tokyo in Shinjuku.
Exactly.
The
And
rest
then
of
after
my vacation, I'm
yeah.
already white, so I don't need much pain.
After the trip, I'm going to do a harakiri on myself because there's never going to be anything like that again. So I might as well just have a nice vision and a picture painted in my head. A nice oil painting from the Japanese, and just it's done, right?
I used to make a sinister joke like that. Like, I'm just gonna go to Japan and just stay there. I'll just go to the suicide forest and dead in Japan.
You know what? We talked about our interest in the supernatural stuff too, and you kind of touched on it earlier too, with like the Grudge and the Ring and that kind of stuff. Really different, a different kind of horror thematic than we have over here in the West, and probably what you guys have over in Europe too. I mean, it's kind of like they're even creative with that shit, like their ghost stories.
Yeah, but I think it's also because, they don't really rely on music. So you're really watching a silent scene, and that already just creeps the fuck out of you. And then something really happens, and you're like, ugh. You hear that sound probably too, but
yeah, that from the Grudge.
In
Yeah.
American movies, you already hear like the music, doom, 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 jump scare.
No, but you're right, because you know what? That makes it more realistic. Because in real life, if some shit that were crazy like that were to happen, there ain't gonna be any fucking music playing in the background. It's gonna be like it's gonna happen just like that,
Yeah.
And that's like the scary part about it. Like you said, that's what makes it so much more realistic. So, yeah, I mean, I get you. Oh, here we go. Louis, Kill Bill honored Japanese culture in such a cool way.
Yeah, it's actually based on a lot of Japanese movies. It's a tribute.
I like
Maybe
Kill
we
Bill.
should do something like that, like someday, to touch on all the movies Kill Bill is based on.
Yeah, we should do. Yeah, I'd be down to do a stream on Kill Bill. Heck yeah, I love it. I love those movies. 1 and 2 are great. Yeah, I mean, they're some of my favorite movies. Actually, Kill Bill Volume 1 is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie ever. So, yeah, love it. Good point, Louis.
Especially the moment where she is in that Bruce Lee-ish type of suit.
Yes, the tracks
She
yellow.
grabs the kid and she's like slapping him with the sword. She's like, "Go home to your mother." That's actually also from an older Japanese movie, which is it's kind of interesting.
Oh, really, son? Why don't you tell us what Japanese movie it is? Oh, do you know? Do you remember? I know you do.
On the top of my head.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's cool though. That you know that. See, I didn't even know that shit. I mean, I love. I don't want to talk about Kill Bill to a certain extent. But let's tie it into 13 Assassins for a second, right? Hattori Hanzo sword.
Ooh.
Shogun. The way that what we were just talking about with the respect, like when he gives her that sword and he puts the stamp on it, the emblem. What is it, like a demon or something? He puts on the thing, the hilt or whatever, the blade, or I mean, she was just like, so thankful to have that. She was just like, oh yes, thank you. Hattori Hanzo sword.
Yeah.
And I
Played
love
by Sonny Chiba, as a side note, who was like the Japanese Bruce Lee on steroids back in the 70s.
See, I did not know that. See,
he's awesome.
If you guys are out there watching, or when you rewatch this video or this stream, if you have any questions about Japanese culture and history, hit up Sanimation05. She knows it all, literally. She knows a lot of obscure stuff that she blows my mind all the time. It's like, hey, did you know this? I'm like, no, I didn't. But it's cool though, because now I know, and it's like, you know what, this is shit that I love for a really long time, but it's funny because I feel like you focus on details in a certain way and I focus on details in a different way, and then when we talk about it, it's like boop, boop, right, and the stars align and there's like a white light, like, oh yes, Japanese culture, fantastic. But Louie, by the way, I want to thank you for being the only person in the chat. We appreciate you. The original Grudge messed up. Yeah, it's a pretty freaky movie. The hands coming out of the back of the head and shit. It's like, oh my god! I saw it and I was like, oh.
You should go check out Missed Phone Call, Louis. It's another amazing Japanese horror. It's, I think, from 2004, 2005, and it's basically where when you get a phone call with a particular ringtone, you know that you're gonna die within like 3 days.
Damn, fuck that. That's kind of like the Ring, sort of, with the 7-day thing. You watch this and you're dead in 7 days, right?
Like this stream, if you watch it, you'll be dead.
You'll be dead in 7 days. Well, 13 days. This is about 13 assassins.
Of course. Let's stick to number 13. It's better.
Yes, 13 is legit. Love 13. We talked about that. Amazing number. Love it.
Gen 13.
Gen 13. No, but what else in the movie 13 Assassins really stuck out to you? I know we talked about, decent. We talked about it a decent amount, but what other scenes or characters or moments or, I don't know, just like shots were you like, oh fuck, like that scene with the guy falling down? I mean, I was like, oh shit, Was there anything else that you can think of that you were like, man, that was amazing?
Well, I think the entire last fight is so tense because you see these 13 people basically coming together. I mean, first it's just 12 people, but how the guy finally gets accepted because, like, you dumb samurai, blah, 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 with your stupid rules. And how they basically all slowly die. It's just so sad in a way. Like, it's not like, bum, they're dead. No, you actually see them suffering, laying on the ground and literally crying for their mom or something like that. And one of the most badass scenes is that one of the younger ones, he's kind of like really getting paranoid and scared. And he gets to that one guy that's really good at the swords. And he had like the sword stick out in the entire alley. And he just like, stand behind me and kill anyone that passes me. And he just grabs the sword. That's just so badass. That's like the type of guy that you want next to you when there's a war. He will take care of you. Like, get behind me.
No, that's like a really good point. You're absolutely 100% right. I mean, I was going to say that exact same scene. I love how the camera pans in on it like sideways, and you can see the swords like sticking out of the bamboo shoots and shit, and like all on the ground. He goes up. That like you said, that was an amazing fucking scene, and I love that. Another reason I loved it so much too was when you were talking about that scene, it really made me think of this. I know we talked about the elements and how they were all like in the movie, but also like what we just talked about with Japanese culture and the emotions. The movie is funny in parts, like the part where he's like, you need to learn explosives, and they go like set the explosive off, and they're sitting there waiting for it to explode, and then all of a sudden it's like, poof, and they're like, oh fuck, they get scared, I laughed. I was like, that's funny as hell. Or when they're walking through the forest and there's a leech on the guy, and he's like, oh, you have leeches on you, and then the guy's like covered in leeches, and he's like, oh shit, like that was really funny. Like there's humor in that. And then there's, like you said, the whole scene with them getting slaughtered and killed is, I mean, depressing as shit. That's really sad, And there's serious parts in it, or even the main character, the main good guy, the guy who gets all the people together,
Shimada.
Yeah, he, like the scenes with him and his nephew where he's just like laughing. He's like, ho, 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 ho. I mean, that's so cool. But then there's the scenes where he's like super serious, like when he's standing on top of the fucking building and, the evil guys are coming into the town, and he's just like, kill them all. It's like, oh shit,
But even at the end, when he's like, when this is over, go live a good life.
Exactly. Yeah, another thing that I want to mention about that too is, isn't it kind of funny how there's two different ideas between the good guys in that movie and the bad guys, quote unquote, in that movie? I mean, they are pretty bad. They're killing innocent people. In that movie, with the idea of sacrifice. What does it mean to sacrifice something? For like Hanbei, right? It was loyalty to my lord. That's what I have to do. I have to sacrifice myself, my servants, my family, everything that I love, that I care about is for my lord. That was his idea of sacrifice. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit in the beginning, but the good guys, though, like you just said, with that scene with him and his nephew where he was like, live your life. For him, it was, I'm going to sacrifice myself for my people. That was the different thing. Like, I'm going to put the people before the Lord.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Like at the very end of the movie, I know you've watched it a million times, and I've seen it several times myself. When the credits roll and it says that was the end of the shogunate, and then the Meiji Restoration happens, and obviously the Meiji Restoration is Imperial Japan as opposed to the shogunate rule, which was about the people, right? Like we need an emperor to lead the people, to do things for the people. But it's kind of funny because when the shogunate stuff first started in the Edo period, right, it really did introduce a lot of really neat stuff for people. But it was more for the upper echelon of society. Like a lot of the other people didn't get that. With within the Meiji stuff, it was more like we're not going to kill servants and slaves or anything like that, like we used to do. I mean, we're still going to kill them, but not like we used to in the Edo period, right? So I think that was really cool that they did that, and that it's just an amazing movie, like you said. Definitely, after I was going to say it was in my top 10, but after talking with you about it and rewatching it again, I think I might slide it up in the top 5 because I can't, like, I'm sitting here thinking about like a bad thing to say about it, and I don't know what to fucking say that could be bad. Like, I can't think of anything after rewatching it. I mean, name one bad thing. Is there a critique about it where you were like, oh, that sucked, or that wasn't very good? They could have did that better. I mean, was there anything that you would have changed about the movie, or do you think it's like a perfect movie? You think it's a 10 out of 10? Would you rank it 10? Not where do you put it at?
Well, I think I would give it a 10. I mean, there's so many human factors in it. Even the guy that just, would swing in the stones, he's just like dreaming about Opashi, the girl that he saw and he's in love with. And even near the end, he's like, oh, I'm going back to Opashi. And how the guy says, no, I'm going to America and I'm going to hang out with a bunch of girls. He's like, oh, that's the spirit. They just remain human in a way. You can really relate to them. Like also with all the bad guys, the soldiers, the bad guy is in the end the half brother of the shogun. So you have to follow orders because otherwise your entire family could be destroyed because you're a disgrace and your entire family has to commit seppuku.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're really serious about that, as soon as, even with the guy that stops them from going into town, with that little thingy at the bridge.
Yes.
He later commits seppuku because, he did honor, towards his town, but he did go against the half brother of the shogun.
Exactly. And isn't that funny? Because we just talked about the sacrifice component. You have the middle ground with somebody like that who was defending the bridge. Who, I mean, you remember the scene. The evil lord dude walks up to him and is ready to like literally kill him right there.
Yeah.
And then the guys come out with the rifles and they're like ready to shoot him. And he's like, okay, I'll turn around. Haha. Like you said, later he commits seppuku. That's like the middle ground. He was, like you said, he was protecting his people, but he could only do it for a certain amount of time because he was so disgraced by the idea of being a samurai and not respecting the wishes of the shogun that he does the seppuku.
Yeah.
Then you have the assassins, obviously, who are like, the hell with the shogun. We're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Our people are more important. And I think it was cool. Another thing is that would they have over 200 guys and there was 13 assassins and they literally killed 200 dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's badass. Those are some pretty freaking badass fighters, and it reminds me of the spirit. You see this kind of like warrior spirit in so many different cultures, but I think that's another reason why I'm so attracted to like the Japanese, because I think it really does, like you said, originate from those people.
Yeah.
And me and you both love Greek culture too. We've talked about that, like Greece and Italy and all that kind of stuff. Like the movie 300 people against an entire like Persian army. It's the same kind of concept. Like that whole thing is so interesting to me. And they did the exact same thing. They sacrificed themselves for their people. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah,
and
or that just newly married couple, also somewhere near the beginning, how the wife gets raped.
Yes.
And he walks in and he basically gets his head cut off, like a monkey neck is so like hard to cut through, and how that lady during the night actually killed herself because of the disgrace that will be put on her family because
Exactly.
of what just happened. It's just it's crazy, that let's just end it to not suffer anymore.
It's funny though how they think about that, like that respect. We just talked about how they were so respectful to you. That's literally carried from that point in time. What was it, 1844?
The movie, yes, but the actual events is like somewhere in like 1200 or something.
Okay, let's say let's say it's 1200, or even let's just say it's 1844, regardless, right? Whether it be, what is it, 2020 now,
Hmm.
800 plus years, or 150, 160 plus years, those morals, those beliefs, and all that stuff still exists today, where they're like the most respectful people there are, you know.
Yeah.
And speaking of respect, Louie's like, you guys rule, you rule. Louie, thank you, man, for coming in here and supporting us. We really appreciate it. We really do. And he also said like 300, which we just mentioned, right? Ah, yeah.
Ooh,
Just like
futuristic.
Leonidas. Yeah. And the 300 Spartans. But no, I mean, as far as the movie's concerned, Sona, is there anything else that you want to add? Is there any more input? Is there anything about 13 Assassins that you think that, we maybe forgot about bringing up or left out, or anything else you want to talk about in general about Japan or your experience, or, anything?
Wow.
I
You want to
mean,
go on for the next 6 hours? Then?
listen, I don't have work tomorrow till 8 in the morning, so no. I mean, it's up to you. As far as the movie's concerned, I mean, me personally, if there's nothing else that you have, I, like you said, I could go on for 6 hours more about it. I mean, just
Yeah.
every shot and how beautiful it was. The one sky shot too. Now that I'm talking about it, now see, I'm gonna go on for 6 hours here. The
But
shot
there's
when,
so many actors in there. It's just
oh
amazing that I really love from other movies, and a lot of people probably don't know them, but it's just amazing to see them get in that role, and you just feel it.
yeah, I mean, it was an amazing cast of characters. Like you said, all these actors. I really, like, straight up, I really don't. I mean, maybe like I've seen a couple of them in a couple different movies, but the thing that's great about this movie is when you watch it, it doesn't matter if you know the actors or not. I mean, you watch it and you're just
It's
like, wow,
amazing.
every character, all 13 of the assassins is different. It's like it's like watching the Avengers. It's like a team up of these different characters, but like, I hate to say this about comic books because I'm a huge comic book fan, but I like it better. I mean, like, I like that more.
It's
I
more
like that
relatable.
aspect. Yeah, it's real. It's real. It's actually real, like you said. Some of it is even like loosely based on historical events. That to me is so much more powerful than the imaginary stuff. And the one thing I was talking about before that, the over the head shot, where they're fighting and there's all that blood just like in the street.
Yeah.
You can see the bodies laying there. And the very end scene when he's walking through the mud and he literally steps in a mud puddle, but there's so much blood from him cutting Hanbei's head off. You can like see the blood and the mud together, and it's just like his shoe prints like, and it's like red blood. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, such a beautiful movie. I mean, it's wow.
Yeah, but also the way he gets killed, how he himself is suffering on the floor, like crying, like, "Oh, this hurts really bad. Is this what dying feels like?"
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what is great about that scene too? I'm glad you brought that up, because the thing I loved about that so much was the guy who organized all the assassins literally lets him, I mean, he lets him stab him. He could have easily, if he wanted to, he could have deflected that blade. There's no question about it. He lets him stab him because he knows, if I don't sacrifice myself right now, there's a chance that he could do some shady shit and get more people up here to kill my nephew and whoever else in here before he gets to, the place where he was going to be on the council of the shogun or whatever. Then I'm pretty much going to let him win if that happens, and I can't do that. So he literally pulls the sword right through himself to get as close as possible to the villain, and then stabs him back, like you said. And I love when they turn sideways like this, and it shows the swords just like coming out of both of them.
Yeah.
And that scene was great. And then when he died, like you said, is this what dying feels like? After all the murder and shit he did to all those people and killed every single one of those innocent people, finally it's like, holy shit, this is what they felt when I killed them. Damn,
Yeah.
It's kind
And
of
what
like,
also with Shimura, what you just said, how he sacrifices himself when the doi comes to him. It's late at night, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I came here late at night." He's like, "Oh, I don't have family anymore. I don't have obligations." So it was for him. This was like his last thing in life. He knew that had to happen. He was meant for this. I mean, he was just fishing, and this, the samurai way was his life, and this was his last mission to, like, free the country, to help his nephew. It's just,
it's so good.
everything just ties together in the end, and it's just,
You mentioned the fishing. You mentioned the fishing too. He mentions that in the fucking movie. Like when they're setting up to rig the city up and make it like a death trap. He's like, you got to wait for the fish to come get the bait. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you just said, it's in the movie. And then the guy comes running in, and he's like, because they thought they thought they only had 70 people, and he comes running in. Like, there's over 200, and then he's like, the bigger the fish, the better. And he goes out, and they're like just killing everybody. Oh, it was totally nuts. I love the movie so much. Love it so much.
I think after this stream, it's like #1. It's like, fuck all the other movies.
Oh, really? Now it's #1. Oh man. Am I gonna have to watch it again? But you know what, Santa, you're right.
We come back next year and tell you the new top 10.
Yeah. The new top 10. #1, 13 Assassins. #2, 13 Assassins. 3, 13 Assassins. 100, 13 Assassins. No, but I mean, as far as that's concerned, is there anything else you want to add to the stream? Louie, if you're still there, is there anything you want to add? If you're listening,
Louie,
feel free, my friend.
Your only hope. Louie One Kenobi.
Oh. No, but Sana, like, this is just from me, like, personally, like, no, thanks for this. This is really cool. Like, I really do enjoy us talking about this because you and I have been chatting for, like, a little bit now, and, you know, this stuff is, like, really, really deeply passionate to me because, it's like we just mentioned in the stream, this is a big part of my life, and I know it's a big part of yours, too, you know? As a martial arts practitioner for as long as I was and all the stuff that I experienced while doing that and who I am as a person today, I mean, seeing stuff like this and really the morals like you just mentioned about respect and loyalty and all that stuff and the codes I mentioned for martial arts, that's really a part of who I am. And it like you just said, it ties together because it ties in perfectly to the movie we were talking about and the culture and how Japanese culture influences me. I mean, look at me. I look Japanese with this ponytail going on. I mean, really, I mean, it's an amazing thing. And you said it yourself earlier. I think you used the word beautiful, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, I can't think of another word that I would use to describe it. I mean, that's.
Are you talking about your ponytail now, or what are you talking about?
Well, it is beautiful. No, the connection that Japan has had on both of us, I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. I cannot say enough about it. And, you know, when we go back and, you know, we talk about what we talked about earlier about how people hate on it so much, I don't understand the reason why, because maybe people don't understand how much it influenced them, you know?
Because unfortunately, you know, also there's like a documentary out there about idols, because especially the girl idols, they tend to become famous when they're 15, 16-year-old, and you have all these grown-up guys basically being a predator, following them around, and you know, oh, bikini photos, ooh. Because in Akihabara, you have a female group called AKB48, which is like that. The guy who made them, he had also another group of young girls in the 80s. Onyanko Club, which is like the kitten club, go figure. And they have this one song, and they basically sing, you know, like 15-year-olds, like parents approve this, right? They sing like, don't make me take off my sailor uniform. And oh, all the girls, they talk about having done the deed. And I'm just sitting here making my homework. I want to go out and do it. And I'm like, wow. And eventually this guy also married one of the girls, but then he recreated AKB48. AKB standing for Akihabara, 48 meaning the members. Okay, I'm derailing, I'm sorry.
No, keep talking now. Go ahead.
But in Akihabara, you have like many shops, and they have like all these glass thingies, you know, with closets. That you cannot directly touch it, but you can still look at it. I forgot the name, fuck it.
Yeah, kind of like a curio cabinet or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but all of glass. And you have all these small cards in there, like you liked all the magic cards, but then of members of all these idol groups. Like here you have them dressed as a schoolgirl, over here you have them dressed in a bikini, over here you have them dressed like that. And you really, I mean, I walked in there not knowing what the fuck it was, and you really see, man, like looking at these pictures and collecting them. You know, of course that is one of the bad things, but other than that, Japan's amazing.
Yeah, but that's everywhere, though, right? I mean, just in a different kind of medium. There's stuff like that over here in America. There's probably stuff like that over in the Netherlands, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, but in Japan, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, they have to sign contracts. They're not allowed to date. They're not allowed to drink. They're not allowed to drive. So if they do get seen in public, with a boy holding hands, it becomes like a big fucking scandal in Japan.
Okay.
And you really have to go, in front of a camera with a press conference apologizing.
Hmm.
And one of the AKB48 girls, like, she shaved off her head because she was seen with a boy, or at least her hair, I mean. Because she was seen with a boy on a date, and people are like, "Oh, she's a disgrace," because they really have to live up, like, they're available. They could be your girl. And also with all the boy bands, like, there are also pictures, like, of young girls worshipping pictures of Arashi, who is the biggest boy band of Japan, who is from the same company as, or agency, as you say, as SMAP, the guy who plays the bad guy. So if anyone wants to know anything about J-pop, hit me up.
J-pop and K-pop, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
the same applies to K-pop with all these rules and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
But
awesome.
the girl shaved off her head because she was so embarrassed. She was like, I'm very sorry. I went out with this guy. And also some of these girls are forced into, porn. It's really bad sometimes.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's
And you're basically expired at the age of 25. Whereas the boys, they can continue to like 40, 50.
Now, hold on a second. Let me ask you this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is it true? This is the best of my knowledge. I can't, for whatever reason, this escapes me, but Japan is a patriarchal society, right? It's patriarchal. Like, it's male dominant. Is it male dominated? Is that
Yes.
what it? Okay, so
Yeah.
I thought so. I just want, because you've been there. I mean,
Well, especially in the entertainment world.
Mhm.
I mean, at one point, as soon as you hit 25 now, like, hey, it's time to get married, time to get children, because, you're getting old. Of course, there's still, like, women out there who are still rocking it, like Ayumi Hamazaki, who is, like, considered the Madonna of Japan. But yeah, a lot of these youngsters, they're there for a while, and that's it. And basically, with the difference between J-pop and K-pop is that J-pop, it's all about being cute, like, oh, hi, putting a smile on people's faces, whereas K-pop is more like torture. Like, you're gonna dance your fucking ass off for the next 7 years, and maybe you'll debut.
Put the soul in Soul Korea, right? No, just kidding.
And it's all connected to 13 Assassins, obviously.
It
Huh?
is, right? Absolutely. Put the soul of 13. Oh, hey, thanks, Louis. Yeah.
We
He
have a
called us
nickname.
Sane-san and Joe-san. Oh, nice.
Son
Thank
of
you,
Brody.
Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Oh. Louis-san.
But it should be an A.
uh,
Sorry. I'll leave.
Sana. Sana. You love me.
Anthony.
Oh, okay. Well, the male bathroom stalls are questionable, Louis saying in Japan. Is that true? I've never been. Explain, Louis. Tell me about the male bathroom stalls.
Do you mean the ones that you have to really crouch? Because I saw them in a park. You really have to crouch. And funny thing is that sometimes you see people in the park walking about with the toilet paper still attached. I'm like, ew.
What's on your leg? Is that a streamer? What is that?
Yeah, I had to pee so bad at the park, and I was like, well, I could either wait there for a long time for the Western toilet, or I can crouch over there. I was like, I'll just wait till there because it's probably gonna run down my shoes.
See, that's the cool shit, though, right there. You know? The fact that you were over there and you're still, like, reliving that experience in the stream. See, that's what this shit's about. See, this is what I like. I like that you can talk about that freely, you know? It's really cool. It's really cool. Sana again. Sana again. Well, Sana, what do you think? What do you think is in the future for us? What do you think we're gonna do? We're gonna do. I know Stave was talking about it, kind of hinting at it, on the stream yesterday on your channel with Tomb Raider. He was like, "I'm gonna have me and Vivi are having one Friday. You're gonna have one Saturday. Joe's gonna have one Sunday." What are we? I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit too there briefly. You were like, "Yeah, get ready for some streams. I'll just force you to do it." I mean, what's going on? What do you think? What do you think you want to do? I mean, because this is fun. I mean, I enjoy it. Do you want to? Do you want to continue down this path of Asian culture movies?
Fuck yeah. I think they deserve more credit, especially since America is really trying to take those movies and make a reboot out of it, which really suck.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, actually, maybe next week or someday soon, I want to talk about this movie, The Man from Nowhere. It is recently announced that America will make a reboot of this movie, just like they did with Old Boy. It's gonna fucking suck. This movie is fucking amazing. The original is better. and that's why we will represent the originals.
I love Man from Nowhere. Such a good flick. I
Mm.
love it. You're right though too. Speaking of Old Boy,
Yeah.
I remember watching like No Sympathy for Lady Vengeance and fucking Lady Vengeance and Old Boy, and I was like, these movies are amazing.
Mm.
And then of course I checked out the Josh Brolin one and the Elizabeth Olsen one, Thanos and Scarlet Witch. Right? Weird, but yeah, there's a
I haven't.
connection there. I watched it and I was like,
Meh.
nah, that's not like the original movie. They they try to keep the spirit there, but I don't know. Movies like this, like you said, you can't replicate it. And you know why? You know why I think it is? I think it's because of the shit we just talked about this entire stream. The authenticity is gone. You can't just remake something that has so much originality and so much spirit and so much respect and so much loyalty to a certain thing like martial arts or gunplay or action or whatever. It's so hard to transpose that. It'd be like me like playing guitar, right, and covering Metallica. Like, okay, here's a Metallica song that they wrote. Here's a cover. Like, it's the same thing. Like,
And here's you playing Judas Priest, Painkiller.
yeah, no,
I think the most perfect example to compare this is that if you ever watched a Jackie Chan movie made in Hong Kong,
I've seen it.
it's fucking amazing.
It is a
But
great
if you
movie.
watch an American movie of Jackie Chan, it just fucking sucks. It doesn't make sense. They tried so hard, but it does not connect.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I love Jackie Chan. I love everything he does. But Rush Hour's hilarious. I love those movies. But on the scale compared to the style of the
Police
Asian
story.
stuff, no
It's fucking.
way.
He's hanging on the fucking bus with an umbrella
Yeah.
and all the different angles. Him going down the pole in the mall.
What about Police Story? A New Police Story? Amazing.
Uh, I have. I think I watched them all. Um, there was one that I didn't like as much as I think there was the newer one that I didn't like as much as the previous ones.
Yeah, I think New Police Story was a little weaker. Jackie was older in that movie. He had like grayish hair. Is that the one you're talking about?
Was it where they all were a bit hanging a bit?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I
It
thought
was
it
okay. It wasn't anything to write home about.
was just like, I want to recreate a movie, but let's just write and call it the new police story. It's like,
Yeah.
no, just you should have left it for what it was.
Oh, Kubo. What's that? Louis, Kubo and the Seven Strings. Is that what it's called? That animated movie? Did you ever see that, Sana? It's kind of like a Disney. I don't think it's made by Disney Pixar. It might be like a DreamWorks movie. I'm not sure who produced it, but it's about this kid who gets like this musical instrument with the strings on it, and he's gifted with like this power of the moon or whatever, and all these like Asian spirits try to come and like overthrow this kid, and he has to go on like this journey to save the world and stuff. It's pretty neat, but I think it's English. I think it's actually made by English. I'm not sure. I'm
Go
not sure.
check out Gintama.
What is it?
Gintama.
Oh, that's the one. Okay, yeah. If you're into the toilet thing, yeah, Louis. If you're in the toilet thing, check out Gintama. He was talking about the toilets here, the ones that have anime girls seductively, posted on the urinal. Yeah, I could see how that's questionable. Yeah, I could see, I could see how that's questionable. You wonder what substance is on the toilets, right?
No, because a lot of Japanese people are lonely there, because basically as soon as they enter school, they have to dedicate their entire fucking life to school. And then basically you get a job and you have to dedicate your entire fucking life to your fucking work till overtime, like it's like not like us, we stop at 5 or 6 o'clock and be like, no, if they say, we need you till 11 o'clock tonight, okay. So a lot of these people feel lonely.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
God damn it, you keep agreeing with me.
I do. I don't listen. You've been there. You know more about the shit than I do. That is a good point. Like, think about it though. If what do you want me to do? Argue with you? I don't know what I'm talking about. It's gonna be a complete bullshit story, right? No. That's why they're so dedicated to everything, though. I mean, you even just mentioned their work. See, I wasn't even thinking about that. That's why we have all the cool shit we have over here, and that's why, like, in America anyway, I don't know how it is in the other ones, but over here we don't make shit anymore. It's like everything is an import from Japan. Like my TV, I have a Samsung TV, but I also have a Sony. Japanese and Korean TVs. My car is Japanese, like I just said. Nintendo, Sony, PlayStation. You mentioned that earlier. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure the shirt I'm wearing is probably made in like Indonesia or Taiwan or something. I mean,
You
there.
just want to show your chest hair. That's really why
I
you did it.
do have silverback action going on right there. A little monkey king action, right?
King Godzilla.
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 But yeah, that's a good flick. Godzilla.
Eh.
But I'll tell you what, Louie, you are killing it with these comments. Origami, we didn't even talk about that. That's an amazing art form. I wish I could do it. I'm horrible, but
But also
interesting.
that one chick that's famous now for cleaning up your house, right? Like
Who's that?
tidying up how you have to fold your clothes and stuff like that. I don't know what the fuck her name is. I think she's also like on Netflix, even though I don't have Netflix. It's just chick. She has books. She has everything. She's a fucking millionaire, and she will teach you like how to fold your clothes so you can store everything.
Is she Japanese?
Yeah, I
Oh.
guess. She's probably Virgo too, like who would else would think of like, oh, this is how you're going to fold your t-shirt.
Oh my goodness. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Virgo, okay, and I don't fold shit. Take stuff out of the fucking dryer and I throw it in the laundry basket, and if I wear it, I'm like, all right, I guess I'll press this morning, iron it, throw it on, and go to work. So I don't know. Maybe I'm like a weird Virgo. You said that before. Maybe I'm just like backwards. You know, I have to call my parents and be like, "Hey, was I really born in September? Be honest with me." Right? What do you do? Do you fold your stuff and put it in neat little piles and all that stuff?
I have my moments. And usually it lasts for 3 days, and then it's just like,
Oh. Apparently that girl's name is Marie Comey. Marie Comey.
So there's also this other book that is also very famous right now. What the fuck is it called? I forgot the name. This is so bad. But it's a book how you they interview basically people on a Japanese island, how they live, and they tell you like, oh no, if you have 3 rice bowls that you can eat for dinner, you just eat one, and then you feel satisfied, and then you live better. And if you do live like that, you'll live longer because they are like the oldest people or something like that. I forgot the name. I have the book, but not here, so I cannot really grab it and be like, meh.
We will figure it out. You'll have it ready next time, right? For the next stream when we do some really crazy stuff, right?
No,
but I mean,
next stream will be hentai.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Joe will be performing. He will be singing in a microphone in a sailor outfit.
I do have my tuxedo mask outfit. I don't have the sailor one though. I guess I should get the pigtails going. I couldn't do it with this hair. It's pretty long. I mean, check it out. Let me take it out of the ponytail real quick. What do you think? Hold on.
Whip that hair back and forth. Oh, now he's showing off.
Oh my goodness. What do you think? Pigtails? Is it going down to the moon?
Or up, like whoop.
Oh my goodness, my hair is getting super long. I think I should cut it. I don't know. I like it long.
Yeah, you probably like it when you got the wind, like.
Arigato.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato. No, but Louie, hey, I really appreciate you stopping in, man, to this channel. If you haven't subbed me up yet or Sana up yet, please sub us up. We really appreciate it. The follows and all that stuff. Please follow us on Instagram too. I'm at Hellacious Hero Joe. Sana's at Sanimation05. Oh, you already got Sana. But
yeah.
hey,
he made a song with me in it. Yay!
Really?
Yeah, he's mentioning a couple of comic people, and he goes,
"Oh, sweet." Kondo. Domo oregata, Mr. Roboto. Domo.
Oh my god! Now I just feel like giving a Japanese class now, but I don't really want to be annoying and be like, no, you got it wrong.
Let's do one here real quick. All right, are we talking about? You know what was funny? I remember when I first, because I dabbled in Japanese too. I showed you some of the books. Do you know? I thought it was so cool how they use the characters. Like obviously, like for Japan, we just talked about it a little bit before the stream, like Nihon, right? Ni and Han, two different.
Yeah.
Because they do it like what? It's like it's not an alphabet really. It's like what's it called? A syllabary or something like that. Syllabary or something like that, where it's like based on syllables and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like Ni was what is sun, right? And then Han
Okay.
is origin. So like sun origin or like the land of the rising sun, right? Isn't it cool though? Like even we just talked about how artistic they are. Even the shit they use, like the katakana or the hiragana or the kanji or whatever, it's the rising sun is like you can actually it looks like a sun. It's like a little thing above a little thing for
Yeah.
Ni, right? And then Han means origin or root, and it looks like a tree with like a little slash through the root. Isn't that so cool? They're
Yeah.
so like unique. I love that, and it's so
Also,
funny that
hiragana, how it was designed by a woman. That's why it has so many curves in the alphabet.
see that's so cool though, because like women are curvy, right? Ooh. Right? But yeah, no, that's really interesting to me because how we've evolved as a society, and like honestly, when when I was younger and I saw that shit, I had no idea what it was because obviously I spoke English, you know, a little bit of Italian because my grandparents spoke it, my dad spoke a little bit, but and then Korean when I took martial arts, so I got a little bit of that then and there. But
안녕하세요.
yeah, I mean, like it's insane, isn't it? How
진짜?
are you speaking Korean?
Yeah.
What about Chinese? What's thank you in Chinese? Shishya?
谢谢.
Yeah.
你好,how are you?
Nihama.
你好.
What about Chumanio? That means you're welcome, right? In Korean? Chumanio?
Fuck.
I think it is. Chumanio?
Shall I look it up? Let's do
Yeah.
it.
See if I'm wrong. It's been a while.
You're, you're welcome, right? That's what you're meaning,
I
right?
think it was. Yeah, I think it was. Chumanio?
You're welcome.
Louis said Konnichiwa. Is he leaving?
No, konnichiwa means hello.
Oh, my bad. That's right.
아니에요. Uh, how to say you're welcome in Korean? Well, you have, of course, all these different versions because just like in Japanese, you have the polite version, you have the business version, you have the friend version, you have the grandparents version, you have the take a shit version.
I'm taking a dump. Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, come on, Joey, play for me.
Louis said,
천만에요.
that's what I thought it was. Yeah, Chumanio. All right.
Konnichiwa. Sayonara.
Louis said his little sister's obsessed with moving to Japan too, as well.
Omoshiroi. Where does she want to go to? Does she want to learn the language? Does she want to teach there? Or is it because of J-pop? Is it Arashi? Is she in love with Jun Matsumoto? Or what? Just asking for a friend. Right?
Yeah. For yourself.
Of course. Hit me up.
There it is. So I don't like the Asian guys. He said sayonara. I think he left. Maybe he didn't.
I think he's just showing off. Like, oh look, I can speak.
Teach. He wants to teach in Tokyo. Let's bring it up.
Sugoi.
Yeah, teach in Tokyo.
That's pretty cool. It will be hard though because I tried apply for that stuff, but yeah, your sister is most likely American, so she can prove that she can speak English, but she really has to investigate it because it's a rotten world teaching English in Tokyo because there are many people there, many companies that could rip her off. So please tell your sister to really investigate it.
So honestly, you have a wellspring of knowledge.
You're welcome.
You are the fountain of knowledge, Sana.
I'm the Japan guru.
You are the queen, as you say, of Japan.
Yeah, see, Regina.
Well, what do you think, Sana? Are we gonna cut the stream here? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I always hear Japan from Street Fighter. Japan. Then it goes to Honda.
Street Fighter, such a good game.
So
I wish you had that so we could play. I want to play so bad. Street Fighter.
Well, buy it for me and I'll play it for you.
All right, I'll get it for you. It's like $20. 20
Yeah, me too.
American. What is that in euros? Like 20, 30 bucks? Because American dollars are worth crap.
Mm, probably something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Our
Oh,
currency's
and
getting
in Japan, you also have all these great shops where you can get all the old NES games and stuff like that.
You know what? You know what's really cool? That's a
Mm.
cool point. There's actually a place like right down over the hill from me that
You live
has
on a hill?
it. I don't live on a hill. I live like on this side of the hill. Then there's a hill. Then there's like a valley. In that valley, there's a place called Cartridges Galore. It has all the old shit. It's awesome. They have all the old NES games, all the SNES games, N64, all that cool shit. Sega, everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, but in Japan, you have the Japanese version. Eh?
Yeah, see, the Japanese version would be cool. There's a lot of cool stuff from Japan too that was never released over here too, which is awesome.
Yeah, you have one. Of course, now I forget the name, man. I can't release the game, but there's one distributor that brings all the cool games from Japan to America.
Amazing. Well, Sauna, you know what? We've been on for an hour and a half. Can you believe it?
God damn.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
13 Assassins. 13 Assassins got about 25 minutes of love.
Mm.
But no, you know what? All joking aside and stuff, you know, it was really cool. I think we did talk, you know, about it and kind of tie it in with other stuff, which is neat. I don't think we really strayed too far from the topic of Japan in itself. I don't think we really did. Sorry about that horn. Oh, someone's out there beeping. Pick me up. But
All his fans are outside.
yeah, all my fans. Oh, yay.
Joe, pick me.
That's how we got Nintendo. The Swedish business owner faked it until he made it when he found the little one in Japan. What's that mean? I'm not sure what that means.
Mm.
I like Swedish fish. You said Swedish. They're pretty good.
IKEA.
IKEA is junk. Oh my god, they fall apart constantly. I want Japanese furniture. You know that stuff's good.
You know, you can relax on a tatami.
Yeah, I want a freaking couch just made out of bamboo. You know, it'd be badass. But hey, again, stay. I know you're not on anymore, but hey, man, thanks for tuning in and supporting the channel. Louie, thank you so much, man, for your comments and sitting here and putting up with me and Sana's discourse back and forth on our bullshit. Right? We both appreciate it. Sana, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Thanks for the inspiration. Thanks for making me do this on my channel. You know, you, as you say in your videos, you really put a firecracker up my ass. You know, to get inspired to do this. So
you watch my videos?
Of course, I thought you don't watch mine, but it's okay. I'll watch yours. You know, I'm just joking. I know you watch, you know, 10 minutes of one. It's okay. They're like 50 minutes a piece. But
yeah, I just go straight to the end.
10 minutes in, you're like, oh my god, it sucks.
God damn it, this guy.
I'm gonna go watch some toilet anime. But what's the name of that?
Watch your videos.
What's the name of that anime again?
Gintama. Gintama. Wow.
So, if you guys are getting bored of my videos and you want to check out something really, really cool and fascinating with toilet paper and shit like that, literal shit, watch Gintama.
But it's a really cool thing, you know. It's like a samurai stuff, but the creators don't really take themselves serious. So you have like that they're like in big fights that take like for episodes, like 5 episodes. You're like in a really awesome fight, and then suddenly you have that toilet humor from out of nowhere, just in the middle of a fight. Like the next episode is like suddenly, you know.
You know what my favorite scene in that thing you sent? My favorite scene in that thing you sent me today was when he like turned into that ninja thing and he was like floating on a cloud like on toilet paper and shit. That was fucking hilarious. I was like, I literally laughed out loud. I was like, ah!
Really? Is that how you laugh?
I mean, that was a piss poor imitation. You've heard my laugh before.
Yeah,
but Metal Gear. Yeah. Hideo Kojima. Let's bring that up real quick. Metal Gear. Where'd Sonic go? She's crying. No, but the next song. I will make the next song. What song? What song are we talking about?
Song of Death.
Are we talking about Metal Gear? I love it. Metal Gear Solid 5. Speaking of an amazing creator, Hideo Kojima, another Japanese dude, fantastic. Sana, you just got your bro for his B-Day, Death Stranding, right? Ooh, hoo-hoo.
And he
Hideo
stopped after that,
Kojima.
too. He only played for like 4 hours.
Oh, he only played for 4 hours. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was like, man, it's like a lot of story. You just sit there hanging on the couch, like, and some strategy. And then he was like, meh, I'll finish it another time. Just like
he'll
you
get-
say to all the girls.
Oh, stop it. How would you know, Sana? Okay, anyway. The next song, let me know what that's about. Comment on below this video, Louie.
Yeah.
Tell me what the
We'll
next song's
stay on
about.
for a bit, just to see.
But no, Sana, you know what? I think right here's a good time to cut this loose. We're going to stay on afterwards, though, like Sana said. I'm going to cut the live off. But hey, again, thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it. Next time, we're going to do some more movies on Asian culture and all that kind of stuff. Because like Sana said, I agree with her, you know, even though she's like, why do you agree with me all the time? Stop. Asian culture stuff is a
Sugoi.
little underappreciated. Well, a lot. Yeah, what were you going to say, Sana? Sorry, I cut you off. What'd you say?
No, I said sugoi, which is cool in Japanese.
Awesome.
Mm.
But hey, you're welcome for the Sunday fun day, Louie.
Woo!
I couldn't do this without Sana. She's the bomb.
Diggity.
Sana, thanks
You're welcome.
again for the 15th time. You'll never stop hearing it, ever. Yeah. Thanks for joining the show. Again, Sanimation05, that girl who reads comics, all the way from the Netherlands, and sometimes joins Hellacious Hero Joe's stream on YouTube. All right, guys, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Arigatou gozaimashita.
Yeah, what she said. See you guys. Thanks.